Well, Paris Eternal pretty much crushed London in that first map, didn't they, Monty?
What do you say? It was extremely one-sided.
Yeah.
You know, I thought London would come back and say, you know what, maybe we should get a little bit more practice on that old 3-3 meta. Nope, opted into it. Can't play like that against Paris Eternal. I was saying it before the break, but for those of you who don't know, Seita, of course, another coach coming in for Paris, formerly of Team Giganti. Team Giganti was one of those teams that is known for playing triple and quad tank for years. He might be the best tank coach in Overwatch, so trying to match up against tanks, not going to be the ticket to victory for London Spitfire.
I mean, if the first map is any indication, it certainly does seem that way. And I mean, we know London has this DPS potential too, so it's a little bit surprising to see that not come out. But hey, it's another map. It's only the first map in the series. Yes, it was pretty one-sided, but they got a chance to come back. And let's check out some the comparison between those two Lucios in that first map, actually. I think it's going to be fairly telling here between Cruz and Nuss. I look at the final blows first of all. That's where my eye goes. My eye goes to first, Monty.
Doa doesn't look at the healing done.
I don't look at the important
Just a little
stats.
bit, yeah, a little bit more there for Nuss. But overall, I think Cruz was making a lot of big plays in that match. And like I said, he's one of the really fun players to watch in a 3-3 meta because of how aggressively he plays Lucio, how much he looks to get inside the other team's tank line to disrupt them. Really, really fun. And we'll keep an eye on him for the rest of the match.
Yeah, I would say so. I plan on it. There you go on your screen right now. And, you know, a lot of people coming in here saying, you know, all right, yeah, it's a all-European team. You know, is it going to be as good as people think it is? But I really do think, too, the current meta in the game really favors this team in particular in terms of their preferred style. Yeah,
coming into the season, I think I put this team at like number 7 on my power rankings, which is much higher than most people, but that's just because this meta is very good for them.
That's a bold move for an expansion team, too. We've got some subs coming in from London Spitfire's Guard. Taking the stage, subbing in for Birdring.
And this will be Guard's Overwatch League debut.
Yep.
For those of you who don't know Guard, he was a signing for London during the offseason, and he's considered a Sombra specialist. So I assume we're going to see at least some Sombra here on King's Row. King's Row is a map that, especially on A and B attack, you can see a lot of really wacky compositions.
Yep, that's right. So London, I think, kind of making those swaps that they might need to make to win map 2 here. Obviously, you know, with this swap coming in, it makes you kind of wonder, are we going to see something different than the 3-3?
I think we will. On this map,
well, there you go.
On this map, I thought it on Ilios too. We did see a little bit of it, but it wasn't like a firm commitment that we saw from the Spitfire. But on King's Row, when they have this opportunity to get on the attack early and play 3, 4 DPS, play with those long sightlines, because King's Row has always been a map that is favored Sombra, that is favored double snipers, due to how the big open space on point A, and because it's very hard for the defending team to stand in the open and contest the point while having all of this flanking and long-range sniper damage, just because it's so exposed.
Well, so here's the question then, right? So map 1, the control map went to Paris. Now we're moving into 3 maps in the rest of the series that, in theory, favor that style of not having to rely on the triple tank, triple support. You can rely on having more DPS, 3 and 4 of those. So now the question is, London really needs to find a way to get 3 wins in a row, because if the series ends up 2-2 and we go to that 5th map, which is another control map, you're kind of worried if you're a London fan, I would say.
Yeah, I think it just depends on like which points you get, because some of them are going to be more favorable to 3-3 than others. So something to keep in mind. We'll see how it goes as we get there.
Fair enough. Well, it is time to get things started on our hybrid map. It is King's Row. A lot of people would say this is their favorite map in Overwatch. What do you think?
I think it's a fantastic map. Certainly one of my favorites.
It's a classic.
And looks like London might be doing what we've seen many teams opt into recently, which is going to be the double tank with the Sombra.
Okay.
And no
Fair
D.Va.
enough.
So the idea here is to, try and deal with the enemy D.Va via hacks, trying to control the tank line, and that's what we're going to see. Guard not going to get the hack off early. There it goes.
So I'm trying to get that hack on a Ben Best. You get that Reinhardt shield out of the way, and then that's a ticket for your team to be able to get in on an aggressive move. They're going to get aggressive anyway here. Going in, Cruz. Over the top here. Nuss actually able to demech Finzi. It's brawling on both sides here. Hip down. So perhaps London have a chance to kind of hold this one, but the respawn advantage does definitely go to Paris here. But that's Cruz getting down, and slowly but surely the Paris players are getting whittled out of this fight.
Yeah, and Finzi there, he got actually hacked by Guard on the approach, and Paris Eternal did not cancel their attack. They didn't back off at that time, so he had no defense matrix to stop the incoming damage, which is why he actually got blasted out of his mech so quickly.
Sure.
And that's the goal. What we've seen so far is when teams choose to run without the D.Va, it is the Sombra's job to control the D.Va. There's a nice EMP.
Big EMP from Guard on pretty much everybody on Paris, and yeah, it's back to spawn again, man. You don't even want to try to fight that one. Finzi actually really lucky there. He didn't get demeched on the retreat.
This is looking good. We talked about Guard's Sombra.
Yeah.
It really is his signature hero that we were hoping to see on his debut, already playing it in a couple of much more successful fights for London.
I mean, this is one of those things you have to come through that narrow choke if you're the attacking team a lot of times, and you certainly expose yourself to those EMPs. Paris trying to come around the side now. Rally comes in for Profit here. London with a lot of ultimates to work with. Rally on both sides, in fact, coming out of that Brigida.
Fury looking for the grab.
Yeah, he's going to try to toss it in there. He's got it. Guard takes out Soon really quickly, waiting for more follow-up on that grab. That comes in onto Finzi once again, having to back up. No defensive matrix. Earthshatter comes in from Benbest. Oh, counter Earthshatter from Gesture. That's what London was waiting for. And London again crushing this fight on the defense. Paris starting to struggle a little bit on the attack.
London's so patient there because the Graviton resulted in Soon dying. You know, they didn't commit anything after that because they knew the major source of damage on Paris Eternal was already gone. And the longer that fight went, because London was eventually going to clean it up, the better it was, the more time they were going to tick off the clock.
Yep.
Now another EMP here. We'll see if Soon can get something done with this Graviton Surge.
They got to get something done with it.
EMP.
I mean, oh, that's another 5-man EMP coming in for London. And they will waste no time in turning that hack into kills.
Wow. London really playing significantly better in this match. They look much more on point in terms of their coordination.
Just super, super clean EMP engages. Guard is making a massive amount of difference here.
Yeah, this is so clinical what they're doing, just offsetting their ultimates, making sure they win these fights.
Another hackle coming in. There's the Profit takes out Soon. Okay, another one for London. That Transcendence coming in just in time to try to counter the Graviton Surge. Now Paris doubling up on their support ultimates there. I don't know if they'd wanted to do that. Grab comes in. Now on the London side, and Benbest out of the way. Gesture takes him down with the charge, and Paris once again sent packing. Little bit of, I think, miscoordination with the support ultimates on the Paris side there.
I mean, Guard is playing amazingly well. He's picking them apart. A lot of that fight, Finzi couldn't remech very quickly because he got hacked in mini D.Va form and couldn't call down mech again. So he was just a non-threat in that entire engagement. Guard, though, that's a huge pick.
Wow, hit with a massive shot onto Guard, though. Without the Sombra, can London hold this? This is Paris' chance, and they need to do it. 25 seconds left. Soon gets a kill on the Gesture, and now finally, Paris Eternal rolling forward, and it looks like they're going to be able to get point A off of this. Man.
The right click on Zen doing work. If Hip doesn't get that pick off, Guard gets another EMP, and that's the end, full hold.
Yeah.
So huge, consequential elimination on the side of Paris Eternal, and that will breathe some new life into this push.
Talk about a last-ditch effort from Paris. Hip coming in and being the hero on that Zenyatta. They've got a chance to push the payload now. A lot less time in the time bank than you want for this, but it's something anyway.
It's much better than they were going to do, and here we go. They fade out the trance. They're trying to get it just to use on that Graviton Surge that comes in. No EMP as Benbest is hacked from behind.
I mean, the trance is out of the way, though, and now Guard is going to be free and clear to get a huge EMP on Paris when they kind of let Paris push forward a little bit more.
Yeah, Guard translocated back to his own team when he saw that come out.
Oh, that got blocked for the most part. Gesture kind of looking to turn it around here. Guard now comes in. He's got the hack off, and that's going to be London again rolling through this fight. And if you're a Sombra, you know, going back a little bit farther, you feel so good when you get the Zenyatta on the other side to pop that Transcendence when they didn't really need to. And London's certainly making that work.
Guard is destroying them. He's at 14 limbs and 1 death. Nuss, Profit, and Fury have yet to die on this map. And we've already seen Guard hack 23 enemies and EMP 14. So this is something Paris doesn't look very comfortable playing against.
A grab from Paris coming in to try to make this happen. They're sending in that self-destruct as well, and that's going to take out Fury. Profit down as well. Opportunity here for Paris to try to push forward if they can close out this fight. Looks like they will. Gesture out of commission now, and Benbest getting to save that Earthshatter. Crucially, they're going to have another ult to push with, but look at the clock, Monty. 1 minute left for Paris to try to finish B.
Still, massive win for Paris. They got both of the support ults out of London and won the fight. So they're coming in with the sound barrier. They've got the tools they need to grind through to the end of point B. And crucially, they have the survivability to stay on the payload.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see. Looking at the top-down view right now, you can see Guard just peeking out around the side, looking for a chance. London just has that Earth Shatter. You have to wait for Fury to work his way back up to another Graviton.
Yeah, Paris with a little bit more to work with on the ultimate side. Cruz and Nico both having their support ultimates ready. Guard has that EMP now. And it's on him. Is he going to just translate over the top? What's the play going to be? Benbest getting a little bit low. They got to keep alive. They got to have Benbest live, but no, he can't.
There it is.
Goes in, and now the EMP. As soon as the shield is out of the way. Gesture taken out by Nico, though. That payload still moving a bit, but now London dedicates a Graviton Surge to it, and that's going to get the kill onto Soon.
That was great patience, Stoa from London. They waited until the sound barrier had been used from Paris and cleared it off instantly while Paris was trying to re-engage.
Yeah, I mean, Hip trying to stay on the payload here with that Transcendence. The rest of his team gone. Finzi not even able to remech, and that is going to be it for the attack of Paris Eternal. They don't even finish point B. What a defensive effort from London.
I was really impressed with how Paris played that point B, because they got a lot more than I think they might have been able to without some really good ult economy. But overall, I mean, London looking like a different team coming into this match.
Sure enough, quick break, and we will come back with the next round here on Kings Row. And then getting crushed, rather, in return by London on attack. This London Spitfire roster has paid a lot of dividends here so far in Kings Row.
Yeah, and to put Guard's performance on that half, it's just a half, but he did 23% of his team's damage.
For Sombra? That's crazy.
Sombra, which he was only 600 damage lower than Fury on a Zarya. And so, forget the hacks for the positioning, the EMP. Simply his damage output was much higher than we typically see.
Only one death in that round. Now
looking for an early shot. Here on the Widowmaker. Before just making a quick swap over to the Brigida.
You never know when you're going to find that lucky headshot. Right now, Paris on the defense, and they have got to have an incredible defense too if they're going to stop London from tying up this series.
Well, they're back on what they're comfortable with.
Sure.
Finzi hacked already. Uh-oh.
Yeah, Guard going to find him. Still playing that Sombra on the attack here. Translocates back out. Finzi gets to keep his mech. Guard coming in though, looking for another hack maybe. Cruz trying to boop him off that high ground. Nice. Yeah, and that's going to be a big job for Cruz too, is trying to kind of deposition Guard. Make sure he's not getting that high ground, not getting to get those free hacks. It doesn't stop him, I guess. Yeah,
nice
Guard's down though. Okay, so Paris a little bit more ready for this one. Cruz down as well, and again, that defensive run back a lot longer for the defense, although, if you're Lucio,
doesn't make as big of a difference, rather.
Yeah, you can see Paris already making adjustments, though. They're trying to buy some time here with the coalescence from the Moira.
Yeah.
But Cruz and Nico are looking for this Sombra and trying to get the kills. Guard got a couple hacks up, but they weren't effective this time. The DMEC did not come through.
And through the hotel. Through the side, okay. Graviton Surge used by London Spitfire. There goes Benbest. They managed to isolate him. Now, a bigger shatter comes in from Gesture again. Couple kills from him, and London looking pretty good on point A here. That was just a great little rotation for them. Through the hotel, using the ultimates. And Paris just wasn't ready.
That'd be a pretty quick take there. A minute and a half about it took London. They still hold on to both support ults and an EMP. Be very happy about that outcome. Guard certainly delivering here. He was the mix-up, it looks like London Spitfire needed, as well as Fury taking over the reins on the Zarya from Birdring in the previous map.
Yeah, now London Spitfire having nearly 4 minutes, or nearly 5 minutes actually, to push the payload just kind of 2/3 of the way through point B. So, again, it's going to be a monumental effort for Paris to try to defend this one. Oh, look at that stat, too. 20% higher than the next closest player for Guard's Sombra damage.
Moly.
Gesture, wait no time. Another big EMP from Guard was showing the stats. And you're seeing the plays on your screen, too. Hack the planet, indeed, man. There's no stopping London right now.
I mean, Cruz didn't even get a chance to ult right there because I think he was hacked like at the start of that fight. So the really what they're doing is they're trying to hack around the ult economy of the other team, and Guard is somehow getting these off while doing a ridiculous amount of damage.
I mean, Guard too, only 2 deaths in the fight. He's like, lol, you can't get me. I'm behind 8 proxies, man.
Exactly.
Well, London just a little bit farther to push his payload to close out King's Row. They got some ultimates to do with Paris coming up on a few. If they can just delay a little bit longer, they can have the edge there. Meanwhile, Fury, oh, another big Earthshatter comes in. There's a grab as well. Cruz does get the sound barrier off in time, but the fight going London's way again. Benbest throws out his own shatter, but there's no follow-up now, and that's going to be London closing this map out. Not much Paris can do now, and London Spitfire answers back in this series in style.
Well, these have been 2 very one-sided maps, Stoa, so far.
We got ourselves a series, Monty. That's what I'm looking at.
Exciting. I love the adaptation London made, putting in their substitute Guard and mixing it up with the Sombra. We'll see what Paris is going to do after halftime.
Can't wait. See you then.
A dominant first map from Paris, but London brought it back on King's Row to tie the series up 1-1. Welcome back, everybody, to our halftime show. Malik here with Zoe and Uber. Guys, this match has been crazy so far. Paris Eternal, they came out guns blazing and took the first map pretty easily.
Yeah, I mean, let's just say I wasn't surprised at all. I was actually surprised that London decided to go mirror on that 3-3 composition, and it was a little bit of a back and forth on well. However, the guys from Paris Eternal just brought it home. Ben Best dominated gesture on that Reinhardt mirror match, and there was just really not that much they could have done. Birdring didn't really get anything done on Azaria, whereas Soon actually completely outplayed him on well as on Lighthouse, which was probably the most one-sided affair we've seen.
Right. I was a little perplexed because they didn't have much success on the tank composition when they played against Philadelphia, and then they actually mirrored the Paris Eternal. But it seemed like they found their footing in the second map. They made a couple of little substitutions, and it looked like that played out pretty well for them.
Guard comes in. London show they're very good at integrating the Sombra into this composition by dropping off one of those tanks. You know, they go up against a Graviton composition on the other team. They don't take a Diva, so they have to deal with Gravs with just support ults and not sort of eat it up. It works out. Paris also try and go for a Moira early on their defense, saying, hey, they don't have a Diva. Our orbs aren't going to get eaten up. We're going to get more healing, but it doesn't save you when they hit a Grav. Coalescence was used earlier in the fight. When push come to shove against London, they didn't have the support ults they needed.
How do you deal with a grab if you don't have a Diva or you don't have a Zenyatta?
Well, you don't do too much about it. You hope you hit a beat from someone who's not in the grab.
Exactly. Well, thank you guys so much for that analyst. Give it up for our analyst, everybody. And guys, we all know Prophet is one of the best damage dealers in the entire league, but it was his Tracer play that helped him win MVP of the Grand Finals last season. Here's a few tips from the man himself on how to improve your Tracer play at home. This is Game Set, sponsored by Omen by HP.
제 이름은 박준영이고 닉네임은 프로핏이고 팀은 런던 스피파이어 소속입니다. 트레이서가 팀 조합에서 중요한 이유가 기동성도 좋고 윈스턴이라는 영웅이랑 잘 맞기 때문에 했습니다. 저는 이제 트레이서 센서는 감도만 이제 다른 영웅들에 비해 높은 감도를 사용하고 있어요. 감도만 11.87을 쓰고 나머지는 똑같아요. 제가 쓰는 그래픽 설정은 일단 핑이랑 FPS를 ON으로 해놓고 디스플레이 기반을 쓰고 FPS는 그리고 렌더링은 75%를 써요. 렌더링이 낮을수록 적이 잘 보이기 때문에 낮게 쓰면 좋아요. 펄스밤이 중요한 이유가 궁도 엄청 빨리 차고 데미지도 이제 300이라서 힐러 라인이나 딜러한테 붙이면 한 방에 죽는 거라서 중요해요. 제가 트레이서 연습할 때는 이제 따로 사설방 파서 인공지능 보스를 죽이면서 연습해요. 젠야타 인공지능 보스를 이제 6명 놔둬놓고 젠야타 보스를 많이 쓴 이유가 젠야타를 많이 죽이기 때문에 연습을 미리 해요. 그냥 평타라도 죽이고 이제 펄스밤 궁극기 충전을 빨리 해가지고 펄스로도 죽이고 하고 펄스밤을 특별히 좀 빨리 붙일 수 있는 방법은 이제 전멸 궁을 누르면 좀 느리게 붙일 수 있는데 Q 전멸을 하면 굉장히 빨리 붙일 수 있어요. 빨리 던지면 이제 상대방이 반응을 못할 수도 있기 때문에 빨리 던지면 좋을 수도 있어요. 트레이서가 고지대를 먹으면 좋은 점이 헤드샷도 맞히기 쉽고 암살도 하기 쉽고 펄스도 붙이기 쉬워서 좋은 것 같아요. 아누비스에서 고지대를 전멸로 먹는 방법은 일단 걸어서 고지대로 올라가서 거기서 이제 전멸 2-3개씩 쓰면서 고지대로 가면 될 것 같아요. B 거점은 전멸로 올라가고 여기서 또 2전멸로 저기 갈 수 있고 이런 데서 이제 퍼스트 각을 보고
Prophet giving his moment after moment of brilliance.
Oh, beautiful stick from Prophet.
Prophet finds 5 kills on this Tracer, and you better believe that's enough.
back here at the Overwatch League, all tied up between London Spitfire and Paris Eternal. And I gotta say, 2 maps into it, Monty, I still have no idea who's gonna win this one, because as dominant as Ilios was for Paris, it was equally so for London. This is a great series.
I'm having a blast because I think we're seeing 2 teams execute 2 different game plans very well on different maps. Like, I think Paris played exceptionally on the first one. Will be Bird Ring back in now, which I think you know, Guard was a big part of that win there.
You know,
map 2.
I am honestly a little bit surprised to see this. It does seem like a risk with how well we saw Guard play on that Sombra and Kings Row, but they're going to put Bird Ring back in again as we go to Volskaya Industries. And this is another map, to be fair, that Bird Ring can really excel on.
I think probably why they're putting Bird Ring back in is even though Sombra is good on this map, Widowmaker is as well. And if he is, Bird Ring is going to be the Widowmaker player, so that would seem like what they are going to prioritize as we take a look. Bird Ring at least going to be hovering that Widowmaker at the start of the map. Paris Eternal, guess who's back on 3-3 with Moira?
It's a Paris Eternal.
It is. It's definitely Paris Eternal. You nailed it, though.
Wow, sick. Wow. See what they can do on Volskaya. You can certainly run the 3-3 on this map, but like we mentioned earlier, it's one of those maps, too, that you can actually get a little bit crazy with here. So London Spitfire bringing things up with a few DPS. Nope, switching back over.
Profit on that Widowmaker for now. Gesture thinking about the Hammond here.
Interesting.
All right, they're going to swap it again.
All right,
a lot.
Everybody's changing. Okay, there we're
musical chairs. All right. We're going to settle on the double sniper, it looks like, with the Pyrrha.
Double quad DPS. All right, baby, here we go.
And usually with this quad DPS, we're seeing what we've seen, the Hammond and the single Mercy. That's generally what you run these days.
It is, and again, it's these long sight lines, the ability to skirmish. How do you deal with this crossfire from a Widowmaker and a Hanzo, and you're stuck in that little room thanks to Pharah raining rockets down on you? Got to pay attention to Fury here on the flank, hacking your Reinhardt. There's no more shield now as the rockets keep going in the bunker.
There's so much damage coming in from so many different angles that this is a way to really try to exploit this 3-3 here. And Paris Eternal trying to break out of the health pack room now, but you can see, for now, London has him just pinned down. Gesture going in for the big knockup, and now it's the time for Madosha to possibly sign on that Hanzo. He's got the Dragon Strike already. Finzi trying to fire at the Pharah, but he's taking so much damage from the arrows. He has to go back and hide. Dragon Strike thrown in. And he got eaten. Finzi in the right place at the right time with the defensive matrix. And that's a big one, man. They had Paris backed up into that room. For now, though, London still putting pressure on the point. They've already got nearly 2 ticks. And Prophet still looking for more kills coming in from behind. He's got the barrage. Justice reigns from about a 90-degree angle this time. He does get Cruz before being taken down by Soon.
Resurrect going to come through, though, onto the Pharah. So Prophet right back in the mix.
Well, Nuss using that Mercy ultimate as well, just to kind of get a lot of that AoE healing and AoE damage boosting going on. Paris on the point for now. And a grab brings in a kill onto Bird Ring. So Paris does hold for now. Oh, but Fury comes in with the EMP. Can they capitalize? That's a great minefield placement for Gesture. They're trapped, man.
They're shooting French in a barrel right there, Noah.
I guess so. Yeah, that's sinister. Nico manages to take out Gesture, though. They've broken out. And Paris manages to stay alive on the point right now.
Bird Ring actually making it back now on the Doomfist, so mixing it up once again. I think he was just trying to get back to the point faster. Now he's sort of stuck here with it after the mines didn't do so hot there in the bunker. And Bird Ring still going to be firing slowly into the mass of Eternal players. Nope.
Oh, it's a last-minute change of course with that Doomfist. Dragon Strike goes through again. No kills, though, claimed by London. Nico does get found out by Fury here, so it's a 6v5. In favor of London as they try to finish off point A. Prophet with another barrage ready to go here. And Bird Ring low health trying to go in for a kill. Soon is ready for him. He didn't have the shields he needed. Prophet, you don't want to fire that barrage into the Diva. That's a surefire way to die. And now Paris with that sound barrier can re-engage here. Badoshan down and Paris still holding strong. Second tick taken by London, though. They're getting it inch by inch.
I mean, this is great defense from Paris. They're weathering the storm. They're playing patiently. They've given up some ticks on the points, but they've bent and not broken this entire time. Staying together and making sure Soon remains alive here.
Yeah, but if you keep bending, you're going to end up giving up point A eventually. London has managed to claim at least a tick on each attack here. EMP, that's going to seal the deal. Prophet with 2 kills, 4 already with that barrage. Do you like Justice? Well, you're going to get to see him later in the day, but you get a little bit right now, too, from Prophet's Pharah. And that's going to be a clean sweep there on A for London. That's a team kill.
But it was flashy, Doa, but was it good is the question. They had to use so many ultimates. They're switching their composition anyway.
I think
and
that's
Paris,
why, you know?
Paris doesn't care. They got it down to under a minute. They're saying, guess what? We've got grab self-destruct combo from this defense. There is going to be no snowball here with an ult advantage.
Right.
And so they're like, oh, well, we did enough here. We did more than enough to delay your push.
Hey, well, now London just wants to try to draw as many ultimates out from Paris as they can. Their job is to look threatening right now.
Going to be real tricky, though, with how disciplined Paris has been in this match with their ultimates. So we'll see what they can do, but this is going to be a long, long push for London. It's not going to be a fast point B take.
Oh, the grab dedicated by Paris right now. Going to try to use that self-destruct too, but it gets knocked off the high ground. Probably not going to find any kills out of that one. No.
That
So
wasn't
that's two
good.
down. 2 down. 1 to go, although Nico's going to have that rally soon too on the Paris side.
That's a great gift to the London Spitfires.
Sure is.
Not getting that self-destruct onto the high ground, not causing any damage with it, just a delay. And London continue to rotate across the top platforms, taking high ground advantage just to charge up some ults.
Hey, I mean, we said they have to look threatening. That's exactly what they're doing. Now trying to slowly push in now. Rally used by Nico here to give Paris a little bit more armor as they try to re-engage. Doshin's got the Transcendence, so in case things get really serious here.
That's the third ult Paris has used without any eliminations, though. And look at London. This is getting scary. They're moving up to
Rally.
6 ults soon.
Yeah, they got the armor. They're coming in now off of Prophet's rally. This is their chance. Earthshatter comes in, and that's Gesture caught by it. Ben Best goes down too. Both teams without their Reinhardts as Nuss goes ahead and uses the sound barrier. Now Hip is going to use the Transcendence. We'll see if that keeps him alive. Nico's saved by his own sound barrier for the moment. From the Paris side, Prophet in a little bit of trouble, and it looks like London, with the respawns, are going to have a hard time closing this out. You got to back away here. Losing Gesture was just a bit too much.
I think that London overcommitted after Gesture had already fallen because of the spawn difference. I mean, sure, they picked up an elimination as well, but if you're London, you should be so happy. You're like, okay, well, Gesture died, but we can come back with 6 ults on the next push. We can claim, that point very easily. But instead, they overcommitted, used so many of their own tools.
I mean, I think when you see that 5v5 and both tanks fall like that as the attacker, you're like, okay, well, do we go or not? And you got to make that call. And London, they brought it close, but ultimately, again, you're going to get back to the point so fast if you're the defender on Point B Volskaya.
I think that you have to follow through with the plan. The plan there for London was control high ground, get ult charge, and try and draw out ults, and they were successful at doing that. But when the time to engage came, fell apart.
Overexcited, man. He throws in the self-destruct here. He catches Finzi with it. That's a big one. Oh, but Soon coming back with a couple kills of his own. Soon.
Paris just really controlling this map so far. I'm extremely impressed that they were able to handle the quad DPS as well as they could.
Yeah. Well, they didn't get nervous, right? We saw them play such a measured style that London are the ones who eventually just kind of let their kind of excitement get the better of them.
Yeah, I definitely agree. See London here on their approach. Minute remaining. Not a lot of time to cap this second point on a map that we've seen go, 3-4 captures per team in a lot of the matches so far in the Overwatch League.
Gesture's going to need a massive Earthshatter if they're going to win this fight cleanly enough to take this point, most likely.
And they're going to have a grab, so at least they've got that working for them, but not a lot to pair with it.
Wait to see what Gesture finds here. There we go. Okay, that got blocked. Not a lot of people knocked down by that one. Now Cruz finds the kill into Bedosian. Paris covering with Hip's Transcendence here. Cruz getting the bloodthirsty support action out here. Another boop on a bird ring. And now just 25 seconds for London to try to get that point.
When we saw the Earthshatter come in, it did knock down Soon, but Paris, they were ready for it, went straight back into the back line. Cruz playing deep to actually eliminate the Zenyatta.
Well, I mean, Hip on the Zenyatta Parasite, smart to hide until that was over. Grab comes in on the London side, on the Parasite here. No kills out of that one. Now London throws out the grab, but the sound barrier there for Paris as well. They got to get somebody there. That's right, the delay. Somehow they get somebody on the point, so we're into overtime, and Nico down. London needs to steamroll this one if they want to make it work. Already over overtime. It's a great defense for Paris either way. They just got to close it out. Gesture throws down the Earthshatter, and they get a couple out of it. London with a chance to bring it back, and wow, Paris, they looked so safe for so long. They did. They got too aggressive on the defense. Can they scramble in to stop this one? Finzi with the self-destruct, that might give him something. Nothing kills out of that. Nico trying to come back in. There's Hammond. Benbes trying to stay alive, but they're just trickling in now. And London having an easy time eliminating people. And that should be the point here. London.
Oh my.
I cannot believe they were able to take that.
Can we talk about Nuss and how he went to the back of the points when his entire team was grabbed? Used
Save the day,
sound
man.
barrier only on himself.
Save the day, man. What a round. Well, Paris on the attack after this. Absolute insanity on the attack round from London. They were able to get the second point in the end. Paris looking so solid on that defense, but just letting it drop the last second.
I mean, they thought they could get a forward attack there on the defense. We're going to take a look at Nuss here. This is what was happening in the back, by the way. It was a duel. Nuss gets low. He's going to sound barrier himself during all of this. But if he hadn't been back there to trigger overtime while the rest of his team was held up by Paris's Graviton Surge, there wouldn't have been a play. But in the end, because Paris played too aggressively, they didn't have their Zenyatta there to help them out because they had to go back. That's when the play was made. And, you know, mega props to Nuss for even triggering that overtime in the first place.
Now giving London a new lease on life here on Volskaya Industries. Now they're on the defense. If they can stop Paris from taking their 2 points, that's going to be another win for London. But we've seen this map go, like you said earlier, pretty often to like 4 points per side here. We'll see how it goes. You know, if London does successfully grab a couple points, London's not in the greatest position. They don't have any time in the time bank. Paris going in hard on the high ground. Nico down early, though. London ready initially for that, it looks like. Gesture with an early kill. Cruz trying to bounce off the wall, stay alive, can't quite do it. First attack stuffed by London.
You know, the problem, though, is because when we look at these triple and quad DPS comps, they have to work quickly. Because eventually, you are going to switch back to triple tank, triple support to play B. And so, if you don't have a lot of charge, or if you don't have a lot of time in the bank to recharge your ultimates, then you're not going to be doing a whole lot. So, still London at a massive disadvantage. Paris should absolutely just continue to slam the 3-3 until they get that ult edge.
This thing, you want to get the momentum rolling.
Oh, they just killed
that
Gesture.
helps. All right. Well, Gesture eliminated Paris with the 6v5 now. Golden opportunity, if there ever was one, to take a fast, just like we talked about. London biding their time. They want to see if maybe they can wait until Gesture gets back. It's going to be close, though. They got to get in there. They got to try to stop this point here. Paris getting aggressive here. Bergeron down early. Wow, no kidding. Man, I mean, Paris just wants to win this thing straight up.
Paris is so fun to watch because of how aggressive they are with this composition.
They're so decisive, too.
Yeah, they're playing off the point because they don't want to give Gesture a chance to come back and rejoin his teammates.
Smart.
Now they're going to be heading into this last point with nearly 6 ultimates. Paris can absolutely roll this.
That's going to be the idea here. Going in now, they've got the rally on both sides. X-Armor coming through. Ooh, Benbes comes into the shadow. Birdring knocked low. Grabs going in on both sides, it looks like. Hip finishes off Birdring, but Doshin's Trance couldn't keep him alive. And Paris Eternal all over London yet again here. They are just crushing him on this one. And this is exactly what we talked about. This is the momentum. This is a snowball effect, right? And London, they're going to need to scramble if they want to try to buy any more time here. Use up any more time off the clock, but it's not looking easy. Hammond swap for Gesture coming in right now. Paris again, getting aggressive, trying to intercept people. That's a grab. That's right. Soon takes Ness out early. Self-destruct comes in though on Finzy's side. It's getting messy now. London, they've got the respawn advantage, and with them getting the kills, Prophet gets one on Genji before he gets taken out here. Maybe they can hold it. Oh, I don't know. Soon saying no. Finzy is ready. How about those off tanks, man? And that's going to be Paris.
Taking 2 points so fast.
And that's the advantage, Noah. This is why, in this meta game, if you're great at 3-3, you can just barge into these maps and power through them. And it takes a lot more finesse if you're going to play triple or quad DPS, because you are going to have to play that mirror eventually, and soon just absolutely wrecking people at 100 charge here at the end.
Yep, he builds charge on Zarya so incredibly fast too. This guy, you can hear the crowd. Soon.
So here we go. It's got to be a full hold on A for 5 minutes for London to draw.
Yeah.
It's going to be a bit of a trick.
It might be a bit of a challenge, yeah.
I actually think it's probably impossible against Paris, just because London's going to run 3-3 again, and Paris is a better 3-3 team, so it's just a matter of time until they can really just wipe the floor with you.
Yeah, man. I mean, if you look at the power levels here, if this is a Dragon Ball Z kind of thing, this would be Super Saiyan 3 versus just a regular Saiyan.
Is that right?
In terms of 3-3, yeah.
In terms of 3-3.
Maybe Super Saiyan 1. Maybe. Maybe we'll see Krillin later on London side. He's just a regular human, though. He can't go Super Saiyan. I think London needs to go Super Saiyan on their defense.
Yeah,
if they want to have a chance of defending this one.
I don't know if I'd be introducing humans into the Saiyan fight still.
I don't know. It has not gone well traditionally.
Okay, so
Depends on how many sensu beans you have, I guess.
Quick swap here, back to 3-3 for Paris. So they're not going to see anything weird. They just are going to opt straight into the mirror, except for Winston and Reinhardt being the only hero differences on these rosters.
Yeah, like, all right, you want this? Here you go.
I wouldn't want it if I was London.
I was going to say, yeah, I don't... You think you want this? I don't think you want this, London. Paris coming in, same attack they did before, pretty much. Going onto that high ground, being aggressive here. They're going to take out Padoshan right away. Got separated, got eliminated. Vizen, Hip getting the final blow there, and already London Spitfire having a lot of time. The thing is, they only need one tick. Paris just needs one tick to end it. Hip down, but he got 2 kills before he got taken out. Finji going to help close this one. Birdring, not a lot of support for him anymore. They're already halfway there. Paris Eternal, no stopping these guys. It's another win.
Volskaya, they made it look easy.
They made it look so easy. All the maps have been crazy one-sided.
Seriously.
To this point in time, Paris Eternal will go ahead and take the assault map on Volskaya.
Hey, Eternal was the opposite, man. That was fast. See on map 4 right after that. it has been a pendulum of a match, if you will. Maps going very one-sided for both sides right now. London, though, behind Paris Eternal 2-1 Volskaya. I mean, we were talking about this during the break. You put Guard in map 2 for London. You do great on Kings Row. What do? Hey, that worked great. Let's take him out.
You know what great coaching is, Doa?
What's that?
So you make an adjustment to change something so it works for you.
Sounds good.
And then, for no reason, you change it back to what was failing.
That doesn't make any sense. Why would a team do that?
It doesn't. Weird.
Huh, what do you know? Oh, we have a substitution. It's Guard. Guard's back in again. Who knew?
Who knew?
Who knew? Who could have? You can't predict that.
No, jokes aside, though, I do think they wanted to run the Widowmaker, and it was just less effective than they thought it would be with that quad DPS. Now they know, so they can just play Sombra for the rest of the match.
As G.I. Joe always said, knowing is half the battle, right? There you go.
Personally, I wouldn't swap things that are already working, but that's just me.
You know, I mean, the thing is, you come into a match as a team. You've got that game plan. You want to stick with that game plan no matter what, and sometimes it's hard to be flexible, I suppose.
Maybe.
You should be flexible. Can't argue with this guy. He's a very critical person.
Very set in my ways. What
That's right. So we're going to Route. Are you really? We're going to Route 66. Another map where London has an opportunity to play things a little bit funky, a little bit differently. They don't need to rely on 3-3 to win a map like this.
They don't. And you know what? They can also play Sombra for this entire map on attack and defense just fine. We've seen it before already here in the very first few games of the Overwatch League. A lot of teams opting into that 3-3 in the endpoint C, but you can also just sort of mix it up. Move out your Diva, put the Sombra in, you're good.
Paris is going to know what's up here, though.
Absolutely.
They see Guard come back in, they're like, hey, I remember what happened last time you put Guard in, you ran Sombra. So they're going to be well aware of what London's going to throw at him, most likely.
Yeah, and I think in Kings Row, at least, they did a decent job after seeing it for one round, adapting to it by trying to put Cruz and Nico on Sombra duty to prevent Finzi from getting hacked. But even then, they still found it very challenging. Guard is an ace Sombra player. He's a Sombra specialist, and he'll know how to weave those hacks in onto your tank line, even if you're trying to stop him.
Yeah. And he certainly was unstoppable on Kings Row. Back on the Sombra, as you can see again, as we get things ready on Route 66, Paris Eternal looking to close out this series with a 3-1 victory on our escort map, London Spitfire. If they can do what they did on Kings Row, then we are going to that 5th map, another control map, and then we'll see. Then we'll see what the real adjustments from London are, because that Ilios was very one-sided in favor of Paris. So I kind of want to go to that 5th map, mostly because I'd like to see more Overwatch, but also because I'm really curious to see how London would react in that situation.
It's been a tight match so far. The winning team has generally done a pretty clean job of executing their game plan.
Yeah.
And keep an eye here onto Finzi and Ben Best, as Guard is going to try and get that angle. He's currently on top of that boxcar on the right side of your screen.
I had to back up initially. He did get spotted by Finzi. As D.Va, you know, you've got no ammo, you know, you're not going to run out. You can just kind of spray around. Ben Best does get hacked. Has to back away, play a little bit safe, but Paris Eternal have rotated to the other side here now.
You see Cruz up there trying to deal with Guard, booping him back, keeping that D.Va unhacked, and now they're focusing. As soon as Guard tries to get position, every time they're putting that damage down, he gets a hack off on a Cruz anyway.
Yeah, another hack. This time onto the Lucio here. Guard translocating over to the other side, being very elusive. Going visible again, but Paris still pushing this payload a little bit. London hasn't quite been able to find the kills they were looking for.
I mean, they stalled them without the payload moving for a minute, though, so not too terrible for London. And that's not even going to be their best point on defense. It's going to be much more open here as they come onto big girls. A lot more opportunities for Guard to get good flanks in.
Very true. Paris biding time. Okay, grab coming in from London Spitfire. And that's going to force out the Transcendence on the Paris side as they re-engage here. Nico does take down Gesture. Paris saying, hey, this is our chance to maybe take A. Bedosian uses his Transcendence as well. There's an EMP coming in from Guard. There's a follow-up, though. A lot of people getting hacked on Paris. It doesn't matter, man. They only need those left clicks.
It doesn't matter, Doa, if you EMP when the Grav is already out and the Zarya is already charged, right?
Pretty
the
much.
damage is there. Your team is locked up. And that's London Spitfire using a lot of ults to no effect. Still dragged about 2 minutes off this clock, however, and they are going to have another chance to defend on A before this payload makes it to the end.
Few ultimates, too. Sound Barrier, Grav.
Oh, they're
just
not.
going to let it go. Okay, all right. So they
Interesting.
decide to wait it out, go for that perhaps more solid point B defense. It's like you said, Monty, where the end of point A is kind of open. It's tougher to make Sombra really work on that. Here you can see there's got more of a narrow corridor. More of an area for Sombra to work from the high ground. So I can see the logic from London.
Hip
dear.
again. As part of the shutdown on Kings Row was getting one of those right clicks before the translocate.
Yeah, Ben Best decides to give Gesture the hug of death and takes off Fury with the Fire Strike too. London not wasting any time in team killing, or getting team killed rather, by Paris.
It looks like there were a lot of adjustments made at halftime here for the Paris Eternal. They're definitely putting their focus onto Guard, who was ripping them apart in the last match.
Well, they look much more prepared for this. And it's like we said before the map started, you know what London's going to throw at you with this sub of guards. So they have a plan, executing it well so far. Waiting for it now. A lot of forward positioning by Paris too. You can see Ben Best on the high ground. They're trying to deny Guard places from which to hack.
Yes, and Nico just flailing away out there on that high ground, trying to make sure they're not going to get any follow-up. Good self-destruct, actually, to deny the follow-up on the Graviton.
Yeah, that's right. Sound barrier after everything is said and done when they want to re-engage here too. Ooh, Earthshatter comes in, knocks Soon and Nico down. But Cruz still getting the kill onto Gesture anyway. Paris not losing anybody to the ultimates from London Spitfire right now. They can pop their Transcendence. There's the hack now. Ben Best down. Maybe London can come back in this one. It looks like they will. Nuss just uppercutting Hip into oblivion here. The Prophet chasing Paris away. That's going to be a nice DMEC onto Finzi too. Nice delay on that one.
Sneaky Soon trying to get an extra elimination there at the end.
Yeah, that's something we saw a lot of last year too. Sneaky Soon was like a real deal in last season of Overwatch League here, man. You can't let him backcap on you.
Well, coming in to that fight, though, Gesture again, I'm really impressed with how decisive Paris is when it comes to siphoning off the tank plays. Gesture has been playing too far forward while the rest of his teammates have been setting up on the flanks. Paris identifies that and just destroys him first in almost all of these team fights.
True enough. Paris coming in with a couple crucial ultimates here. Try to close this one out. Fury, whoa, getting aggressive on his own here. Graviton surges down for both teams. Gesture gets pulled in as he tries to charge forward. Fury down though, and Paris managing to trap London between a rock and a Ben Best place. Prophet taking a nap on the payload there, and Paris Eternal carving through the rest of Spitfire. That's going to be point B.
Some funny animations there.
A little bit.
With Gesture coming in and getting with the charge and getting sucked back into the Graviton surge. Couldn't make the play.
It's like I feel like
follow up on the Grav.
About to go into orbit there and just spend the rest of his life circling the Earth. You never know.
So EMP now online for the Spitfire. Flank from Guard all the way into the back. Nico there. Solo on the payload.
Got that EMP opportunity. Ooh, they don't know he's there yet. A nice EMP coming in from Guard, and London Spitfire wasting no time and getting on top of Paris Eternal. Clean fight there, about as clean as it can be. Paris Eternal, they're okay with that. Didn't use any ults of their own in there. They can just reset. They've still got about 2.5 minutes left to finish C.
Just a matter of working up their old bank again. They should be okay. Plenty of time left for Paris. This is a difficult map to finish in the first place.
Yeah, point C on Route 66 is definitely one of the more brutal ones we see in escort maps in Overwatch. All right. Self-destruct. No kills out of that one right now. Paris Eternal does use that to move forward, though. Bidoshin responding with the Transcendence soon at like 10 HP, but he stays alive. Transcendence now for Paris Eternal, as well as they push London back even farther. That payload is still moving, man. And Cruz sound barrier. Whoa! It took a while. They had to wait for that beat to drop, and that was enough time for London to get set. Great disruption on Cruz's ultimate there.
Always feels bad when you're a Reinhardt or you're a Lucio player and you get booped during those engagements.
I hate having to wait that long for the beat to drop.
I know, really throws up your dancing, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. I just like start and I do like kind of half moves. It's really awkward. More awkward than my regular dancing. Ben Best with the kill, and Nasir finds him with the charge. And ooh, EMP from Guard here. He's got like no health left, but Paris Eternal has to back off, and London Spitfire is going to help him do that. From back all the way back to spawn, and down to 1.5 minutes. London's been using a lot of time off this clock.
Certainly have. And Paris also committing many of their ults to no effect. London has really consistently been on top of the ult bank game, coming in with more tools to use in these team fights because they Really saved some of those ultimates, hitting 5 people with EMP, make sure that you don't have to use anything else, really.
Sombra's extra dangerous here. Gesture tries to go in for the Earth Shatter. Nice block, though, from Ben Best. Doesn't save Hip, though. London still gets aggressive, just jumps past the Reinhardt shield. All right. Well, this is why we say point C is very difficult on Route 66. It's such a narrow area to go through, and especially when the opposing team has an amazing Sombra player. You're just going to get hacked. You're just going to get EMP'd all the time.
Yeah, the area of effect damage gets really crazy in here.
Sure does. Everyone's all grouped together like that. Fury getting pretty charged up, but he has that Graviton Surge to use. Paris Eternal waiting for an opportunity to throw down some of their own tank ultimates. Ooh, Ben Best tries to throw out the Earth Shatter. Doesn't really seem to catch anybody. Finzi throws in the self-destruct. No kills out of that one. Again, creating space for that payload to move. They want to move the fight forward on the Paris side. Oh, they're going to trap Paris in the Graviton Surge now. No kills out of that one, though. Nice ultimate from him, but now the EMP comes in after the Zenyatta uses the Transcendence, and Paris still managing to come out ahead in this team fight here. London Spitfire push back. That payload's getting there. They're going to have the respawns. They might have an opportunity to still try to defend this. Fury way in the back here.
There's the beat coming
No
down.
doubt.
They have 2 support ultimates to try and last on this payload.
That's right. It's all about the delay now for London. Guard's going to switch over to the Bastion here. Trying to just hold on. Caruso gets a kill on the Fury in the end. Transcendence from the London side, but it's all clean up for Paris Eternal. They're taking him out one at a time. London lining up and getting knocked down by Paris, and they are going to get that 3rd point on Route 66.
Finally, Paris breaks through the London defense. Ult by ult, a little bit off timing for the London Spitfire, and that means the Paris Eternal find that opening.
And that's the thing, you may have those quick respawns as a defense, but when you're staggered like that, you never get to fight that big, even fight. Let's watch Hype again here.
Yeah, Hip coming in and just making sure that they're not going to have the damage to kill people. Up on the high ground wasn't really a concern anyway, and you'd think with that quad EMP would be enough, but frankly, London's just too far away for any of this follow-up. Too far away to follow up on the Graviton, too far away.
It's kind of a desperation thing.
Yeah, to follow up on the EMP.
His name's Hip, but he certainly does make me feel the hype.
You feel the Hip hype?
Feeling the Hip hype all day so far. And it's like we said, I'll reiterate, man, taking point 3 on Route 66 is huge. It's so easy to defend that one. We oftentimes see pushes get stopped, you know, kind of halfway through C. Paris Eternal, though, having none of it. They put themselves in the position to win this series. All they need to do is stop London from completing their attack run.
I do think we might see this composition here with Guard on the McCree. Maybe switch over to that Sombra again, but having the Hanzo really enables you to control space nicely, at least for the first part of this push.
Yeah, I mean, double sniper is something we've seen a lot on this map over the years here.
So we'll see if it's just a Sonic Arrow into the cart. It might be a Pharah switch. No, it's going to be a swap over to Brigitte.
Okay.
Oh, they're just going to go right back to what was working for them on King's Row and what did pretty well, at least at the start of this map.
I mean, I think it's obvious that's what you do here. I mean, when push comes to shove, Guard on Sombra, you're going to go for that 3-3 sort of comp. Oh no! Nico just swinging around and he finds the invisible Sombra.
Yeah, Paris is adapted to this. They're doing much better than they did on King's Row. Nico really hunting around for that Sombra right there. A lot of times it's either been a right click from Hip or it's been a stun from the Brigitte.
They really seem to have Guard kind of downloaded here. They know where he's going to go. They've kind of gotten to analyze the style a little bit and kind of be there before he is a lot of times. Playing that aggressive defense here, and again, this denies the Sombra from getting behind you. They try anyway. Guard does get behind them, but they force him back right away. Hack on the Benbis. That's supposed to let London move forward, but instead, it's Soon getting the kill. On the Paris side here, Gesture zoned out, put the train car and taken down. He's getting shipped right to the afterlife. And Badoshin out of commission too. So London, again, they're just really having a hard time getting Guard in the right position and then capitalizing on the hacks.
They certainly are. You can see here tracking around the payload. He's been outputting an enormous amount of damage so far in this match. Nico again playing the flank. Look at his positioning. Cruz and Nico on both of the flanks. So this is how they're trying to defeat Guard through positioning, and now Guard's just sitting there in the back. He's going to come in for the EMP.
Ah, that was good
Got
EMP
soon
with the
only.
translocate. That's right. Finzi did get a little bit low. Hip didn't get caught by it though, so he crucially got to use that Transcendence. Not catching the Zen with that is a real problem for London. Self-destruct comes in. Paris Eternal caught in the Graviton Surge, but doesn't look like London has a lot of follow-up to this.
Yeah, soon the only one
Oh.
EMP'd in that conflict.
Oh, Ben Best down. Here's a chance for London. They got to get that payload moving. It's been a great defense for Paris already, but maybe if they can get some kills here. Gesture getting a little bit low, soon finishes him off. And Paris Eternal looked rough at the start, but they're having none of this, man.
Oh, they are not, and they're playing so well, popping the Transcendence to make sure that they could follow up after the EMPs, and
Yeah.
Yetta not going to be hit.
Uh-oh. Oh, Fury. Fury just kind of slid off the edge there. See a replay of that.
Well, we'll see what happened. Meanwhile, London maybe having to rethink a few things right here. To come out with another EMP. Hopefully it will go better than the last one.
Yep.
But Guard hasn't been able to get position, and that's really well played by Paris.
Stick here on the side. If he can get Hip, that's the thing. Okay, he does get the hack onto Hip. Hip with no shields left. Can he finish him? Oh, not quite. Gets in there anyway, man.
Disaster.
Ben Best down. It could still be a problem for Paris here. Fury getting one. Bedosian down, but that Zenyatta's coming back fast, and London finally breaking through here. You know, again, it's like we talked about earlier. If you can EMP the Zenyatta, that's the ticket right there. And finally, London breaking through the first few meters of point A.
All right, you're cool with that, though, if you're Paris. Okay.
You use so much time.
You used a sound barrier, used an EMP. Paris got 3 minutes off the clock on you. You're feeling great. You're going to have another defense here. You're going to have all 6 ults.
All right, let's check this out, man. Fury, how do we fall? Yeah, he just stepped off.
Oh, no.
Oh, you've been probed.
I like the spray.
It's like, what do? You might as well do some art on the way down. We can call that art, right? I don't know. Here we go
Vandalism.
again. Vandal. Gesture drops the Earth Shatter, but nobody there to really be hit by it. Nico comes back with the kill into Bedosian, and there goes now Cruz with a great move on the opposing Lucio, and Paris will take control of this payload again. 15 seconds left for London. They gotta scramble. I don't even know how you get back to the payload in this situation.
I don't know if you do, Doa. It's gonna be a trick to wade through all of these tanks and that self-destruct.
Oh, here we go. Another Graviton Surge comes in. And can they even get there? Somebody touch. Guard managed to get back there onto Sombra. There goes Gesture, though. They're without their main tank. That payload is moving. EMP comes through for Guard. Can they turn it around? I don't think so, man. Even Nuss with the kill onto Hip. I don't know if they can grind this one out here. Nuss is staying alive for a long time. Prophet's still there. Can the respawns get there? No, Ben Best takes Prophet for a ride. And overtime starting to expire here. It is an absolute scramble for London to try to stay alive. Gesture's back again, but he's on his own here. We got the Tracer switch. Guard swapping to get back to the payload again here, but it's still all Paris in the kill feed, and eventually that's going to expire, and that's going to be Paris Eternal
winning their first match in the Overwatch League.
Fantastic debut for Paris, showing the strengths that we thought they would bring into the start of this league. They can be
so
very
solid.
proud of this win, I think.
That was incredibly impressive by Paris to not only play their strategy out so cleanly, so decisively, but then to adapt to